Hello and welcome to The Long Play, where we listen to some of the world's greatest albums. It's a little bit like a book club, but there's no books. Hello, Paul.
Hey, Tom. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate.
Good.
It feels like we haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, well, it's we're recording back-to-back episodes today just to kind of catch up and get us back up to date. So we've seen a lot of each other.
Yes, we have.
But we haven't recorded for a little while. So
yes,
it's good to be back.
Back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle, exactly.
And
yes, we're here. The pod dog's here.
Yeah, the pod dog's
been
got
out
the
for a
zoomies.
walk and he's got the zoomies. And yeah, anything could happen.
Yes,
anything could happen.
Yeah, sorry, we've been a little bit tardy in our recording recently. I've had some work on, which has made it a little bit difficult for me to get in front of a microphone. And Paul went away, and yeah, so we thought it best, instead of releasing a tie-up episode halfway through the month, that it would just be cleaner to do two for one.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to get bonus episodes. You're going to get two in quick succession.
But they're not going to be
your feed.
They're not going to be together. They're going to
no,
be separate.
Obviously, everybody's going to want to know that they're getting single episodes. The full
shake
value,
up the format.
The full value for them. Yeah, exactly. So today, Tom, we're talking about Lemonade by Beyoncé.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's today's topic of conversation.
And what lemonade it is.
Yes. Yes. And, well, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I walked in with, maybe not apprehension, but just kind of with a bit of a sort of feeling about how I thought I was probably going to feel about the album.
Uh-huh.
And I'm pleased to say that the journey that I had with it, I think it's exactly what this show is all about. And the process of all this is about is you walk in with an idea, and then over time, and as familiarity grows with the piece of work, your perception of it changes and it becomes its own thing. And I've had a wonderful time listening to it.
Yeah.
It's been really good. We've had this month and last month. Maybe we should just refer to this month as Lemonade for this month, so that it doesn't get confusing. But this month, and without sort of breaking the time or continuing too much, next month we're two female giants of the industry. It's been amazing to actually have those in close succession.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I think I was less apprehensive because I think Beyonce's a little bit in my wheelhouse. Sure. I like kind of neo soul. I like hip hop.
And you're a Beyonce fan.
I'm not, but I'm not a Beyonce fan. Really, because I thought she was. So she's an amazing performer. So and I do kind of love her performances. But I always thought she was a bit poppy. Mm-hmm. And you get this album and you realise what an artist she is. And I absolutely, there's so much to it. But I connected to a number of the songs quite readily.
Yeah.
Even like the first song, which is called Pray You Catch Me.
Yeah.
That just reminded me a bit of kind of neo soul, and we lost the great Angie Stone last month, and it just reminded me a bit of Angie Stone, and I was like, oh, great, I know where I am. This is great. But then there are, and then it changes into Hold Up and Don't Hurt Yourself, and the kind of it's all over the place from a style perspective, for a genre perspective. But I really loved it. I really, really enjoyed the whole thing. And as we said in the mid-month missive, it was released as a visual album as well. And obviously, that I think what she presented visually just kind of changes your perception of what the album's about as well. And I know you said you watched it last night. In fact, the visual album.
Yeah, it's nothing short of astonishing.
Mm-hmm.
I just found, I watched it on my iPhone,
right.
of all things, and I was watching it about 11 p.m. at night, and just had it on my iPhone, sat in the living room, and I was using the iPhone speakers, and actually, I was absolutely amazed at the iPhone speakers that I was like, this is really good.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. But this isn't about that.
Yeah.
This is about this album. I was just the art of it all. I thought was really staggering. The poetry by, is it Warsanshire?
Yes.
The Somali British poet, were, I mean, just so moving. And actually, one of the lines which stood out to me was "fruit too ripe to eat," and it kind of felt like all of this was like that. It was almost a bit untouchable, in a sense. It had something about it that was, mixing ghetto culture and almost like an ethereal folk horror sort of thing at the same time. Like it pulled on so many strands.
It could have been a real mess, couldn't it? There's so many genres and pulling on so many strands, but it isn't.
Yeah.
The vision is so kind of clear that it works. It works despite it being so.
Yeah, like when you were talking about across the first 3 tracks, we go from this very James Blake opening track, to the quite scatty feel of, is it Hold Up?
Hold Up,
and then into this absolutely
rocker,
and like not even like sort of rock song in inverted commas, like it's really raw, it's really punchy. I mean, it's Jack White all over. It's they're both couldn't be further from each other, really.
Yeah.
The soft approach with the sort of truncated sort of feel of track 2, and then this just, very raw, very visceral rock track on track 3.
Yeah.
But none of it feels like it's too far removed. And I think that comes from what I'm saying about the familiarity of spending time with the album. I think when I first listened to it, I was a bit like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then as you peel back the layers and you start to sort of, I think the visual album did do a lot of kind of connecting the dots for me.
Yeah.
And understanding the arc of the album a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Even though maybe it's just because of the sort of the chapters bookmarked in the visual album kind of did a lot to kind of explain that journey of understanding and dealing with infidelity on any on any level. And it was I think that maybe framed the album in a slightly different way from where I felt like I stepped off it at the end of the month. But it's staggering.
Mm-hmm.
It's staggering. I walked away kind of going, I need to watch it again and see all the bits that I missed.
Yes. Yeah.
There's so much going on.
Like all great albums, it rewards multiple listenings. You hear different things, and I definitely feel like you listen to a track and think, oh, this is my favorite track on the album, and it could be one of almost any of them on the album. That I'd kind of jump between different tracks, loving kind of each one as it goes in very different ways as well. Again, Daddy Lessons. We spoke actually at the in the intro episode about not really feeling Beyonce's country album, and yet I really like Daddy Lessons, and it's a country song.
I've got exactly the same notes. Talking about on the intro episode about writing off Cowboy Carter, and not being into it, and actually Daddy Lessons is one of my favorite tracks on the album. So maybe I need to go back and listen.
Maybe, exactly.
And I think I will actually, with the sort of the journey that I've been on through this, and just sort of dip my toe back in and see if it's something that I can relate to. But it's very, very good.
Yeah,
it's very good.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of run of the first. We'll move on from the first 3 tracks in a while, but that run of the first 3 tracks, actually, I really...
It's one hell of a punchy opening.
Yeah. Hold Up was talking just before we sat down to
Came
record.
on air.
Came on air, yeah, exactly. I really wasn't into hold up the production, particularly the air horns at the outset. And yet now it just feels like it works.
Not a fan of an air horn, Paul?
Well, I felt like it was misplaced somewhat.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're doing a Jamaican dancehall track, great, but why is it here? And yet, after multiple listenings, I'm like, oh, actually, I really like this. It's
they're not too offensive. I think it's like one of those things that once you start listening to it, you can't unhear it.
Yeah.
But I think I probably do remember on the first listen, kind of going like, oh, that's a pretty wild choice.
Yeah.
When I'm making music, I typically pick up a shaker first. I don't.
Well, maybe you need more air horns.
Well,
neighbours would be delighted.
But it's I don't feel like when I listen to that song, I go like, oh, here come the air horns. It's it's good.
And then don't hurt yourself. Jack White. I said in the mid-month missive that it reminds me a bit of the Dead Weather. That kind of Alison Mosshart as the vocalist in that, a female vocalist alongside Jack White's riffs. But I mean, Alison Mosshart is a good singer, but she's not a great singer. Beyoncé is a great singer, and she really rips this, doesn't she? Yes,
I think to that point, it's an amazing, showing of her. Not only her vocal talent, but her vocal range.
Yes, yeah.
The amount of storytelling that she's able to do with her vocal style and choices, is remarkable.
Yeah,
it's I don't think I'd necessarily appreciated that in her work before listening to this like this.
Mm-hmm.
She's an absolute master.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the kind of collaborations as well. She obviously, this is, I find it really interesting who she chose to collaborate with on this album somewhat, in that this is obviously a very personal album for her, a personal story of kind of infidelity, but it's a much broader canvas in terms of Black culture, slavery, Black history, feminism. All of those things, particularly with the visual album, come through really strong. And, her collaborations are not obvious. James Blake, The Weeknd, Jack White, Kendrick, I guess. Kendrick's a little bit more kind of obvious, but they're all great. And for her to work so well with such a diverse set of collaborators across, again, quite a personal album, found
and
great.
all of the collaborations that she does as well, you can really feel the fingerprint of that artist on the track. It's not like they've just come on and sang, a guest chorus or something like that.
No. So not only is she like introducing all these different genres, but she's also introducing all these kind of different artistic styles. I mean, you can't get much different than James Blake, Jack White, and Kendrick, can you really? But it still works.
Yeah.
I
have to say that opening track, before I knew that James Blake was on the record, I thought, oh wow, this sounds so James Blake, and he co-wrote the track.
Yes,
and this as well is. I mean, maybe we're sort of moving on to tracks like Forward now, but this is very much the end of James Blake that I really, really enjoy. The slightly obscure melancholy, hark back to tracks like Retrograde and stuff like that. And is it called Retrograde?
Yep.
And what was that cover that he did, which was massive, which has the vocal sample in it?
Limit to Your Love.
Limit to Your Love.
That's the one.
But maybe this is a good moment to talk about things that happened in 2016.
Yes.
Because it's that recent, I'm sort of moving away from what happened in the years. And I'm just sort of drilling down into the music.
2016, in lots of ways, was not a good year, politically.
Yes. But as James Acaster has told us, and we have told you on this podcast, that James Acaster says it is the best year of music ever. And there's some incredible albums that came out in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
To name just a few, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds Skeleton Tree, Leonard Cohen's You Want It Darker,
Yeah.
released posthumously, I think,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. Bon Iver, 22 a Million, one of my favourite albums of all time. Radiohead, A Moon-Shaped Pool.
Yes.
David Bowie's Black Star,
Yeah.
which I think was another album that was released either
Well, it was released the day before he died, wasn't it?
Yeah. I remember it vividly, and what an album that is.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Ocean's Blonde and Solange.
Yeah.
Seat at the Table.
Yeah.
Solange.
Yeah.
Solange.
Yes.
If from the north or south. Go on then, Paulie. Premier League.
Man U.
No.
Chelsea.
No. Leicester.
Was it? Was that their year?
That was their year. And the FA Cup.
Arsenal.
No, United.
Was it?
United.
Well, my knowledge is better of the 70s.
And that's what's happened in 2016.
Yeah, I have an album to recommend from 2016, actually.
Do you?
Yeah, by an artist called Bruno Penades, which is called Those Who Throw Objects at the Crocodiles Will Be Asked to Retrieve Them.
Right.
And this is a typical James Acaster recommendation. He went through all of, most of those like big albums that you talked about, but he dug deep into 2016. And I really love this particular album by a kind of Brazilian, I think he's Brazilian, artist.
Yeah.
It's really kind of atmospheric. And
what sort of style?
I would say it is like weirdly like modern Brazilian kind of samba music.
Right.
Yeah. But it's great.
Well, if you have a listen, write us in the comments and let us know what you think.
Yeah. But that's the lesson really from that whole kind of James Acaster Perfect Sounds whatever project was. There's great albums out there if you just dig deep enough.
Yes.
Particularly nowadays. So much music. There is so much music. And of course some of it's not great, but loads of it's really great.
So let's talk about what your favourite tracks on the album of Lemonade were. The album of Lemonade.
The album of Lemonade.
Oh, just a quick pause to talk about the vinyl.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely staggering.
Yeah.
The colour on it, it's amazing.
Yes, I have the... I don't know whether they were all released in yellow, but I think they were.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the cover as it goes is up there with one of the most sort of simplistic but just very evocative.
Yeah. And again, it represents this kind of it not just being a music album; it's a visual album. And the vinyl was just very thought through in terms of its design and release.
But yeah, it was a real. I was really wowed when I took the disc out of the sleeve. It was bright yellow.
Yeah,
very cool, very cool indeed. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Well, I mean, as I said previously, my favourite song just depends what is actually on at the time. I really love All Night. Yeah, I think it's such a almost simple song that that just really works for me. Freedom, I put on when I want a kind of bit of a banger.
Yeah, it's a banger that.
I think All Night, Freedom, and then we've spoken about Daddy Lessons and Don't Hurt Yourself. Yeah, but I could end up listing all of them.
Yes.
What about you?
Pray You Catch Me for me was just the opening.
Yeah, I love it.
It was, I think I really leaned into the sort of slightly more somber aspects of this record. Not that I didn't enjoy the heavier hitters, but I liked the slightly sort of darker edge of it. Like I really liked Forward.
Yeah,
and the sort of really unconventional aspect of it
That's a really kind of good way to describe quite a lot of the album, unconventional, for a kind of such a big, major pop star to release something so unconventional and so risk-taking. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was unbelievably moved by Sandcastles, actually.
Yeah.
Especially on the visual album. Like, you know, it was, especially with the content, like I think I was quite, well, maybe not surprised, but just that Jay-Z's in the film. I was like, wow, this is, you get this sort of totally different feel that it's not sort of looking outwardly on a sort
You're
of situation.
Being invited into something.
Yeah, it feels very personal.
Yeah.
And, you know, makes, you know, no matter how autobiographical any music is, you always feel like someone is talking about themselves slightly standing away from their situation.
Yeah.
And that very immediately felt like it was very, very, very personal.
Yeah.
And so, I was moved by that. Daddy Lessons as well, I think, just because of how much of a surprise it took me by. And again, Sorry actually is one that keeps on coming up, the one that I keep on.
Yeah.
That little hook is just very, very embedded in my brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, and don't hurt yourself, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like you said, it's very easy for all of it to, you know, you look at the track listing and you go, oh yeah, there's that one. Oh yeah, there's that one.
Yeah.
And it's not very often you get to do that with an album where it feels like every single one has its place and is valid and stuff.
Yeah. Again, with an album that feels so so many different genres, so disparate, but still with, you know, a clear artistic message. And then the tracks all to work as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's great about this album. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. And it also prompts me to think that I need to listen to Cowboy Carter and go a bit deeper on some of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on then. The question that everybody's been waiting for.
Yes.
How many Smiths of Paul's does it get?
Oh, I didn't know I had a jingle now.
Well, maybe I'll turn it into a jingle.
Actual jingle.
To shout out another podcast.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Three Bean Salad and their ability to turn a passing comment into a full-blown jingle.
Oh, we aspire to that level of... We don't aspire to that level of artistry. Tom Figgins does. Because he's the one who'll be doing any jingles. He's the jingle meister.
I think our jingle might need a little upgrade as well. So,
yeah.
I can see a day's work ahead of me.
So I'm giving it 9. I think I'm giving it 9. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. I was tempted by a 10, but I think it's a 9. Yeah.
It's difficult dishing out 10s.
It is.
And as this process goes on, I feel like I've become more... Well, you kind of start to learn your ballpark, don't you, I guess?
Yeah.
But as soon as you give a 10, you hit your ceiling.
Yeah.
And then you know that anything that you say after that has got to be able to hit that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I was in a similar boat.
But I can't recommend this album highly enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
If you're entering here and you haven't spent time listening to the album, please do go and listen to it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And if you want to come and find us on our social media, you can find us at The Long Play Pod on Instagram.
Yes.
You can come and join us on Substack.
You can, thelongplaypod.substack.com, where every month I send out the mid-month missive, where there was lots to go at with Lemonade. I guess particularly with albums that were released more recently, there's so much content nowadays, you know, even if it's just from the artists themselves in terms of videos. So all of that was in the mid-month missive. And also that's where we'll tell you about what's coming up as well. So join us, come and subscribe. It's free. thelongplaypod.substack.com.
Wow. Thanks very much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you next month for Tapestry
by Carole King. In the meantime, no skipping.
No shuffling.